Hey, good evening, everybody. It's pretty late, so I'm just doing a video instead of a live. But I'm making chocolate chip cookies. But guess what? It's keto friendly, only 2 net carbs. So follow me, and I'll show you how. This is what I have in my bowl so far. So I'm getting ready to add my butter. I will list all the ingredients that's in this, but it is chocolate chip cookies. And I already have this in the bowl. This is all my dry ingredients. So this is all my dry ingredients, and I'm getting ready to add 6 tablespoons of softened butter, and then I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of water. I added my 1 tablespoon of my water. Now this is my 6 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm just going to mix this again, and I will list the dry ingredients in my comments. So now I'm getting ready to mix this. It smells so good, everybody, but this is what it's supposed to look like. You can use 2-inch cookie scoop and get 10 balls out of it, or you can make them smaller or bigger, but just line your cookie sheet up with parchment paper. So I lined my baking sheet up with parchment paper. You always want to use something nonstick. Parchment paper always works best, but in a pinch, if you have some kind of nonstick foil, I wouldn't really recommend wax paper, but as I stated, if you're in a pinch, wax paper, a Silpath, or like some kind of oven liner, something that's nonstick. So I used a 1.5-inch cookie scoop, and this is the size that I used. It's a 1.5 inch. And as you can see, it formed this size cookie. It's a 1.5-inch cookie, and I got 10 out of it. You're going to put it in a 350 degree oven, which I already have preheated, for about 12 to 15 minutes. It just depends upon your oven. My oven intends to go to the actual time. So if it says 12 to 15 minutes, it's really going to take my oven 15 minutes. But everybody's oven is different. I have Frigidaire. It's a newer model, so mine does take 15 minutes. This is chocolate chip cookies. It's keto friendly. I will list all the ingredients as far as the dry ingredients. The wet ingredients, the only thing that's wet ingredients that you had to use is 6 tablespoons of salted butter and 1 tablespoon of water, and then you mix it with the dry ingredients. So I'm going to list the dry ingredients that I used in my keto chocolate chip cookies. Hey guys, so I just wanted to list some of the dry ingredients I used in my chocolate chip cookie recipe. I will post the exact measurements in the comments, but the wet ingredients is just 6 tablespoons of salted butter melted, and you can just use your microwave for that, and then 1 tablespoon of water, just to get it to moisture consistently so it's not crumbly, because anybody that knows when you cook keto and you're using almond flour, which is one of the ingredients that are the dry ingredients, it can become really sticky or crumbly. So this helps just keep it moist. That way you can get it in your cookie scoop. One tip I can offer, if you feel like it's too sticky, just stick it in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes to a half hour and let it like chill for a little bit, and then the dough will be easier to work with. But if you're in a hurry, kind of like me, because it's like 10 o'clock tonight and I just have a sweet tooth craving, just work really fast with it. Use a cookie scoop, and definitely use parchment paper. So some of the dry ingredients, and I will list the exact amounts that was in my bowl. I was just doing it quickly tonight, and to give you an idea of a chocolate chip cookie recipe that I like to use, because I think it turns out really good. So I use coconut flour and almond flour and a sweetener of your choice. You can use an Allose brand sugar. Is actually called Allose. There's Swerve. Swerve is one of my favorite brands. You can use Splenda, and you can use Pyre, any type of sugar sweetener substitute. I would suggest for this type of cookie, maybe an Allose. So let me see if I have any left in my bag, and I'll show you a picture of the bag. So this is what I use in my cookie recipe. In certain recipes, I use certain types of sugar. So when it comes to certain things like pies, I use a mixture. You can use whatever brand sugar that you want. Bestie is a good brand sugar when you're making like pies. Something that has to set, such as a lemon meringue pie, something of that matter. You don't want the sugar to crystallize, so you want to use like a half alu xylitol type of sugar with maybe your favorite brand sugar. It could be Splenda, it could be Pyre, it could be Swerve, it could be monk fruit. It's whatever you choose, or whatever you're comfortable using. So in certain baked items, such as this recipe, when it comes to like a crumbly type recipe and you don't want it to be crumbly, I don't always use like Swerve granular, because you want it to be really moist and soft and not have that crumbly texture to it. So I use half xylitol and half alus for this recipe. However, you guys can use any type of recipe sweetener, excuse me, that you want. Then I use coconut flour and almond flour. And then, of course, I use unsweetened chocolate chip. You can use Lily's unsweetened chocolate chip, or you can use Hershey's. I love them both. Either one works. It's whatever I can find and whatever is available. If you're doing cost savings, Hershey's has sugar-free chocolate chips. I think they're amazing, and they melt very good, and they are on the better half of the pricing than Lily's. Lily's tends to be more closer to the $5 range at my local Walmart, where Hershey sugar-free is only a little over $3 for the bag. So it depends upon your preference and your wallet. And then just some vanilla for the actual third added wet ingredient to give it a little bit of flavor. You can add xanthan gum if you would like. It's like a thickening agent. I didn't this time. I think that what I put in there works great. I've used this recipe many, many times, and I've never had a problem. I have 2 minutes to go, so I'm gonna pull the cookies out in 2 minutes, and I will show you what they look like. So 1 minute to go, and then I'll pull the cookies out. And you do wanna lay them on the cookie sheet just to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before you transfer them to a cooling rack. You want them to like harden up a little bit, like get more, I say, tough, because if you transfer them right away, then they'll just crumble, and you don't want that. They stay soft and chewy, but you also want them to start their cooling right on the cookie sheet. You can leave them on the cookie sheet. I've done that, and I haven't moved it to a cooling rack before, and they came out amazing. So again, it's your preference. I just give you the baseline of some keto recipes that I like. I have a bad sweet tooth. I had gastric bypass surgery about 2.5 years ago. I'm down 170 pounds. I still do keto. I did keto prior to, and I still do keto as of right now. As you learn these recipes, you know how to manipulate certain ones to certain ways, like know what sugars to do and don't do. A couple years ago, I made a lemon meringue pie. It was for Easter, and I wanted something springy. And I didn't realize that the type of sugar that I used, it was a granular sugar, because that's what the recipe would normally call for, and I just used Swerve because that's the brand of my choice. But after I took it out of the fridge and I cut it up and I started to eat it, it crystallized. The sugar crystallized. So I couldn't figure out what happened, and then I realized that that's when you had to play around with the types of sugar you use. You can use aloes, you can use xylitol, you can use Bestie, but my bell just ding and I'm getting ready to pull the cookies out. Let's have a look. So they are out of the oven, and they look like chocolate chip cookies. So if you want to continue to follow me for more keto recipes, I do sweet and savory. So I do a lot of baked goods, whether it's pies, cakes, cookies, puddings, ice cream, sherbets, etc. I also do meal prep, so I do breakfast, lunch, and dinners. But I do a variety of things. I'm always cooking keto. So if you would like to subscribe to my page and follow me for more recipes, I will definitely be posting probably 1 or 2 recipes a week. If you have any requests, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. I will get get the exact measurements of the dry ingredients in the comments. And just remember the wet ingredients is about a quarter teaspoon of vanilla. You can add a half teaspoon, just depending upon your preference, on your taste. You can even use an almond extract. You can use whatever extract you want. 1 tablespoon of water and 6 tablespoons of salted butter. If you prefer unsalted butter, that's okay too. This is just a baseline of to get you started if you have a sweet tooth like me. Please subscribe to my channel on my YouTube. It is Cook Keto with Melissa. I appreciate the subscriptions, and if you want to follow me for any more recipes, click that bell button because it'll let you know that I uploaded some new content. And if you're interested in watching or following me, I much appreciate it. Please subscribe once again at Cook Keto with Melissa. These are my chocolate chip cookies, and I will show you one more time. Look at that ooey gooey goodness. Look at that. Look at the chocolate. So they're a little soft, so you want to just leave them sit here to get a little hardened. You can transfer them to a cooling rack or just leave them like that, slap them on a plate. You can even make ice cream sandwiches out of it if you have a favorite keto flavored ice cream. That is up to you. And just remember the chocolate chips you use is either just make sure it's, you know, unsweetened, like your sugar-free. Hershey's is the better priced. Lily's has a little bit of a costly price. They both taste really amazing, so I don't really have a preference over the other. But I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy my recipe, and I'll put the dry ingredients in the comments. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Cook Keto with Melissa. Have a great night. Follow me. Click that bell.